We're Michael and Dana with Living Quite Simply, here to talk about things you need to get rid of before you move.
We've been married for 13 years, and in those years, we have lived in 9 different homes. So we've done a lot of moving, and we've learned a lot about moving along the way. And we've found that one of the first keys to a successful move is first, purging all that you don't need. And so here's a list of 25 things to downsize before you move.
First on the list, food that you're not planning on eating. No sense in moving with that.
Yeah, oftentimes we will buy something that we really didn't like, and we feel guilty just throwing it away or discarding it some other way. Just go ahead and purge that now. You can have a fresh start in your new home. The next thing on the list is kitchen gadgets that you don't really use or you don't use at all. Number 3 is dishes, like if you have miscellaneous dishes that really don't match with anything, or if you have dishes that are cracked or have some type of defect in them otherwise, go ahead and toss those now.
Another thing is small appliance that you might not use. Maybe you have a couple fruit processors, an old blender that's a backup that you never use. Don't waste your time packing it into a box and waste that space. Just go ahead and donate it.
The next thing is excess cookbook.
So if you have 1 or 2 out of a cookbook that you regularly use, just snap a quick photo of it on your phone and keep it on a file. Yeah.
Mismatched Tupperware. If you have lids that you don't have the bottoms for, or if you have the containers that you don't have the tops for, just toss whatever is not matching now. Start fresh.
Next, toiletries. Every time you get some toiletries from maybe like a hotel or something, maybe you tried a new one from the store and it didn't quite wash your hair the way you wanted it to. Like, get rid of all the toiletries that you're just not really gonna use.
Just get rid of whatever's not working in your bathroom.
Next one, maybe you have a junk drawer somewhere in your kitchen or office where things just kind of tend to go and pile up, and the children kind of know that's where they can go to look for little paper clips and things that they can play with. Just take that drawer and maybe dump it into a trash bag. You're probably not going to miss most of the stuff in there.
But really, just go through the drawer, see what you need, and get rid of the excess. Next, you can go ahead and get rid of any cleaning supplies that you tried and you really didn't like them, you're not going to use them again. Get rid of those now. Friends, if you're enjoying these tips, let us know by hitting the like button. Next, get rid of anything that's broken. Either repair it before the move or don't waste your time packing it.
This next one might be a challenge, especially if your love language is receiving gifts. But if you've gotten gifts from family members that you don't foresee yourself using and you're just holding on to it for sentimental value, go ahead and pack it up and donate it to your local thrift store, or maybe re-gift it to somebody else, so that way somebody else is getting the blessing that you got.
Next, we're going to be talking about clothes. The first type of clothes you want to get rid of is anything that's ripped or stained. Just discard them. Next is old children's clothes. If you have any children's clothes that no longer fit the children, then you can discard those before you move as well.
The next one are clothing items that don't fit. Maybe they're too small, maybe they're too big. Just go ahead and rehome those and save the space.
Next is excess children's toys. We have a culture where children have too many things. I think it causes too many stress. We have a lot of strong opinions about it. But now is a good time to get rid of excess children's toys.
It does happen. We had a child come into our home and they said, "Where's the children's box?" or "Where's the toy box?" We don't have that in our home. We're actually very minimalistic when it comes to toys because we prefer our children to be outside playing in nature and things like that. But if you have if you have a real big bin of toys that are just overwhelming, do your child a favor and get rid of that stuff. It's so much less stress when they don't have as many toys to deal with.
Next on the list is magazines. If you have magazines piling up, maybe you have a certain subscription to a certain magazine and you think you might get to it later, or maybe there are some articles that you want to keep for later. Take out the articles that you intend to have for later for reference. Otherwise, just discard those altogether. Next is books that you've read that you aren't going to need for a reference in the future. And I like to take those books that I really enjoyed and gift them to a friend.
The next one I'm very much guilty of, because they are books that you typically think you're going to reference, but you never do. And those are textbooks. And here I've been out of school for a decade, and I still have thick, heavy textbooks. And some advice, just get rid of those. Donate them to a school or sell them on Amazon. Somebody could be using those where you're not.
Next is something that I can be really guilty of, and that is holding on to books that I haven't read, that I've intended to read, and I just haven't gotten to it. And so in this move, I actually have gotten rid of all of those books in preparation for the move we have coming up.
Good job.
Thank you.
The next one is excess shoes. Now's a good time to go through your shoe bin and throw out the ones that you haven't worn in a while.
Next on the list is furniture you don't love, isn't really useful, or that's seen better days.
Yeah, if you don't love that piece, if you're just like, I could do without, don't break your back moving it onto the truck. Just get rid of it. The next one, which we just recently did a week ago, was going through our electronic bin. Maybe you guys have some bins where you have miscellaneous cords, chargers, and things for you don't even know what they belong to. Go ahead and go through that bin and just donate that stuff to your local thrift store.
Next is home decor that you really don't love, or maybe stuff that you have in excess. Next is office supplies that you aren't using anymore.
Our last thing is important because it's typically something that's fragile and a hassle to move, and that's glassware, vases, mugs, things that are typically gifted anyway, so you're hanging on to it for that sentimental value. Go ahead and pack up all the vases, maybe keep 1 or 2 that you might use on a regular basis, and then give all the rest away.
Yeah, same with mugs. So oftentimes those can become so over-accumulated, so really just pare it down to a reasonable amount.
So hope you enjoyed that list. These are things we're currently getting rid of in our move, and we thought we'd share it with you. If you enjoyed this video, think about subscribing, because we're going to be doing more of a series in moving to the country.